Whether you guys like it or not, increasing your velocity will absolutely get you to stand out in front of college coaches.
What's going on? Thanks for checking in. Today, we have a good one for you softball pitchers out here. Hey, we have two Hall of Famers, Crazy Paisley in the ECU Hall of Fame, and as always, Sierra Romero in the Michigan Hall of Fame. So what we got today, Tony Paisley, one of the best pitching coaches in the country, has an unbelievable resume, helped thousands get to the next level. She's been doing this for over a decade. She's gonna show you 3 velocity killers for softball pitchers.
So today we're gonna go over 3 common mistakes that can kill your velocity. So we're gonna start off by watching the pitchers go through some walkthroughs, some run-ins, and just see what the mechanics look like. That'll really affect your velocity. Yeah, cool. And make sure you have like a higher intent when you take your final step. Just drop in. Cool. Nice.
So you're saying one of the main reasons strength is important is this braking force that they're doing.
Yeah.
So learning to accept that force. The same thing with baseball players, right? Especially on something like this when they're running into it.
Well, I'm thinking how quickly you take off too.
Okay.
It's a big thing. I mean, the speed and the rate of speed that you take off the mound, huge, but the way you absorb that force when you're landing, and that can all be improved by the strength program, and most of them aren't doing.
So obviously, you gotta get strong, and you gotta learn how to produce force quick.
Yeah.
So that's
exactly.
step 1.
Yeah.
That's just gonna raise your ceiling no matter what your mechanics are.
Yeah. Let's speed up into run-ins. And if you miss the mound, it's fine. Like you can run past it a couple steps. Which is super similar to baseball pitchers. They're doing these running guns or whatever they're called.
So this is just to get them moving fast, learning to move fast.
Learning to move fast, but how does it feel when you hit your foot on the ground and actually get rid of that ball? That was a really good one. And this kind of comes in your firm front side too when you're here. And it's okay on like the run-throughs, you guys, to go past that landing when you plant, but just try to be balanced on it. Yeah, there you go. That was good. Good job. When your foot lands, try to get your hand in a higher position. Then it won't slip out as much.
So like to get more oomph on it, right, during your walk-ins, during your roll-ins, run and gun, so to speak, is that something you guys focus on, is stiffening up the front side, like you're actively thinking about that?
I think definitely my front side and my glove helps me get momentum and speed on my pitch.
Yeah, same thing.
Yep, if your front side's strong, then it helps you create velocity from the back side, definitely.
So it all works as one, you know? So an exercise that we do within our app that directly transfers over to that component, the stiff front side, would be our single leg variations. So we can go over here. Through the app, we progress 3 different single leg variations. We go a split squat, we go a rear foot elevated, and then we go a reverse lunge. So we can do 3 of them here. So first, we'll go ahead and hit a regular split squat. So get out, you're gonna lower, nice, slow, and controlled, and explode up. Good. Good, one more. Good, now you can rack it. So as you notice, right, that's her land leg when she throws. So we build this up. We have girls in here that can do their body weight easily on this exercise. Because the higher this ceiling goes, the higher your potential, you know, when you throw goes up. Because you're accepting a whole lot more force on that front leg than, you know, your actual body weight. So we try to push that to the envelope. Then we go ahead and progress into a rear foot elevated. So you can stay over that front side a little bit longer. So go ahead and do your land leg again. Lower slow and explode up through the heel. Lower slow, it's kind of a lot of weight, honestly. Do 2 more. Good, 1 more clean one. Good, now go ahead and rack it. So Natalie, that one's a lot harder, right, than the split squat?
Yeah.
because that makes it even more of a single leg dominant move. But how we progress after this, we start activating the hamstrings and glutes. So we go into a reverse lunge. Again, we want to stay out over that front side, but we want to snap up and squeeze the glute and the hamstring at the top. Good. So the goal with these single leg strength exercises is to just build that force potential to the roof, okay? After we get heavy with this, right, like that body weight is right where we want to be, then we start progressing into moving the bar a whole lot faster to produce that force at high speeds, because right, that's what they're accepting over here, you know, on the rubber. So for that first velocity killer, that strong brake leg, best way to do that is build up your strength potential in the weight room. That'll automatically transfer over.
Yeah, let's do normal motion and let's start at like 70 to 80% of your speed, and you have to hold your drag leg up for like 3 seconds. Okay. Yeah, good luck, here we go. There you go. Yeah, because I remember you'd like to hop, right? And you're pushing your energy up instead of into the ground. Interesting. This is actually a perfect example though, because you'd push up, you like to sit back too much sometimes. Nice.
So pushing up dissipates the force, and you want to go forward.
Well, think about decelerating, right? When it's baseball, when it's softball, and the foot's in the ground and we're trying to tunnel all the way up, this is where all your injuries happen, and this is where you lose speed because you're not able to transfer your backside to get a little bit faster. All right, so when you guys are trying to do this, it's hard to hold it for 3 seconds, right? When you're trying to do this, think of your foot as like a tripod and try to like suction the ground when you land and just kind of feel it. You can squeeze your glutes, you can do all those little cues, but try to kick up that drag leg and just hold it. Nice. That was a lot better. Good job.
If her foot's pointed that way, is that bad or does it matter?
It's ideal to be a little more 30 degrees or even towards the catcher, but this is one of those things that takes a lot of work, getting that foot angle straightened out. That's how I partially tore my meniscus. Nice. That was your best one. That was really good right there. So when you guys are building strength and you're doing those type of workouts, you want to feel it and kind of think about how that translates into gripping the ground when you land. And just kind of the cue that I always use the most is plant and rip. Everything should be speeding up, although your body is decelerating and that front leg is stopping you. Nice. Are you at 100? Are we getting close? You want to try 100, and then we'll do like a walk in with it because the run in might be really tricky. There you go. Good job. I didn't think it would be that tricky for you when you're landing, but you feel kind of that hip shift this way. Yeah. Try to, when you kick it up, do like, I guess the best way to describe it, even taking like all the science crap away, think of like a tornado and how your hips can actually rotate into your foot. So let's actually, you'll do a walk-in and then maybe do like one more regular one. See if we can hold. It's all right. Remember that high K position, right? Keep your hand under it the whole time. Into that leg. There you go. That was nice, good job.
This flamingo drill, so I don't know anything about pitching, but this flamingo drill looks so much like Monica Abbott's finish.
Oh yeah.
Is that how
so
she like
it's
finishes?
like the old school term, which we still use sometimes, is called a figure four. And like we got a lot of crap for teaching that to pitchers. Although if you think about it, this is where your front side is. It's all in that front leg. It's why it's called front side. So when you decelerate and kick up this leg, everything is going faster, but you're stopping quicker. So I think that's where like the old school motion came from, and most of us, like think of Danielle Laurie too, like all of us, we have like that kick in there, and then you just put the foot back down so you don't have to balance like this.
No, that's true. Danielle's a good one too, because when I faced her, I faced Monica, I just remember as the hitter, I just remember always, it felt like they were coming at me really hard when I saw that finish, and they finished like that every time, and they did it in warm-ups too, but it just felt like, oh shoot, like this is about to come at me really quick.
It is, and it's the plant and rip, right? The foot goes down, and it might be similar to hitting too a little bit when your guys' foot hits, but the foot goes down and you're supposed to be going faster. So it's good that you can recognize that as a hitter And then maybe we can scare you a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I see
That's
it and I'm
the
like,
rate
all right,
of
this is coming a
perceived.
little quick. This
Yeah.
is about to come in a little
The
spicy on me.
rate of perceived speed. It's in the kick. Nice. I feel like that's good. Yeah. Yeah. You have a question?
Yeah. How can you prevent lifting your leg too early, like in the finish?
Yeah, your drag side?
Yeah.
Staying grounded.
Okay.
So you feel like when you land, sometimes you kind of roll, and do you hit?
Yeah.
Do you do that when you hit? So when you pitch, sometimes those things like obviously are automatically gonna happen. But I think the moment that you tried to do the tornado with your hips into your foot, there was less of that, and it was really easy for you, at least what it looked like, to keep your foot on the ground from lifting too early.
Okay.
Does that kind of
Yeah.
make sense with it? Try one right there and just try to think about that. And then see if that keeps you more grounded. That looked really smooth. Is that why you try to sit back sometimes?
Yeah.
Because you try to keep the foot in the ground longer? Yeah, and then you have no, I mean, we can call it like a scissor effect when you decelerate, but you have nothing to whip against when the foot comes up really early, right? You feel that and everything just kind of bottoms out. So your strength training is super important because that's gonna automatically translate over into how you're planting and ripping, which is your firm front side. This is the part of your motion when you decelerate where we can have problems with injuries. Your whole firm front side, it can affect your speed, it can kill it, it can improve it. So this is where we want to take it really serious to work on planting and how you absorb all that force that you're putting into your pitch. This ties into your firm front side a little bit because you feel when you stop and you have to use that whip to come all the way through the ball. Just air it out. And you guys both know there's a few ways to do long toss. That's why you asked if you should air it out. Going for strikes is cool, but when you air it out, you actually have to get that whip going. Up high, up high. There you go. It's the best. It literally is. It's in all my programming. Yeah. So how many times a week are you doing long toss right now?
Long toss, I'm about 2 times.
2 times a week? Is it before your games or more so?
I'm before my games.
And is it around your bullpens ever?
No, so I throw, before we throw, or during when we're throwing overhand, I also include my arm circles.
Yeah.
When my outfielders, I throw with an outfielder
Yeah.
before games.
That way you can get further too.
For long toss, I do my underhand long toss.
Which is good to air it out and get ready for like a great game and putting some power behind the ball. But if you incorporate this more in your at-home workouts and bullpens, that's where you can use it more for like conditioning the arm and gaining velocity. So before the game is great, right? That's what we want to do. We want to feel good and we want to feel like when you go on the mound, now you're closer, right? You just shorten that distance and you feel really fast, which is important for pitchers. But when you're at home, this is where you're going to challenge yourself more. You're going to go further, you're going to go for more reps, and you're really going to improve your velocity. There's a few different ways to do long toss when it's at home and you're conditioning. I always like, nice catch. I always like airing it out and seeing how much under the ball we can get to put some more velocity there. Nice. Having a Plyo ball program, overhand and underhand, is gonna be amazing for not just velocity, but your shoulder health and how you're throwing the ball out there with your workload. Softball workloads are crazy. We don't really have pitch counts, so it's something that we really need to keep in mind as we're working with the Plyo program. Do you always do the 1 pound ball on these or do you go lighter?
I use a 32 ounce.
Oh, perfect. So that's perfect. All right, cool. So the harder you throw overhand is directly going to relate to how hard you throw underhand. Nice. So a lot of times you see like the baseball pitchers, they're in here doing their overhand programs, and the softball girls, we just warm up just throwing a softball. So having a program like this will really, really not just warm up your pitching and underhand skills, but it's going to increase that velocity. You want to try a hold?
I don't know how to do it.
Just don't let go of it. It's the same thing, and then you're just,
Do I go all the way around?
yeah, you're just stopping and you're just holding it just to stabilize. Yeah, feels different, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You feel good? Yeah, you want to do the underhand? Maybe we just do one where even like you get the hips involved a little bit, so you take pressure off of the arm and you just kind of load that backside and then just throw it in. So plyos can also be used to take pressure off of the arm and make sure that we're loading the hips right when we're pitching. So on this one, you can even tell how when you jump back, it was just like everything was straight here. So try to really like sit and get as low as you can so you get the hip and glute going. Sit low, there you go. And then on this last one, after you sit low, stay low. Like just pretend you're gonna hit your head on a ceiling. Stay low, good. Try one more. This is actually telling me a lot about your motion. When you jump back right, no, it's a good thing. When you jump back right here, your leg was straight, your arm is straight, everything is just like this. So how do you gather that, right? And come into the pitch to release it. So when you jump back, specifically try to keep this arm a little bit more relaxed and stay in it. There you go. Not only are mechanics really, really important for increasing your velocity and making sure you're just maxing out with everything you have, having that strength program is directly gonna impact the mechanics that's helping you stay safer and throw harder. Do your strength program, make sure you have a firm front side, long toss, and plyos. Those are gonna be huge for you.
What do you think a pitch count should be, like for at home and during games?
So I think there's no black and white way to answer this, and you think back, not even if you think back, like I'm an old school pitcher, no pitch counts, nothing. You either show up and you feel good and you throw, you show up and you feel bad and you throw, unfortunately. But we're at least in a time now where these conversations are being brought to the table, which is really nice. I think if you're gonna find a way to have any pitch count, it needs to be unique to each of you. So if you're using things like arm care devices and kind of monitoring your fatigue after you throw and how much it drops, maybe it doesn't drop that much. You're at 100 pitches, you go and test and you're like, oh wow, like my strength is really good, I don't feel anything. Maybe you get to 50 pitches and something drops. Like it's different for everybody, and because there's not a set pitch count, I think you have to really pay attention to the devices that show you how you feel. Well, not show you how you feel, but show you how healthy you are in your performance. Pair that with your own pitch count. So I think that's probably like the best advice I could think on pitch counts. I can throw numbers out for like younger 12-year-old pitchers and be like, hey, in your bullpens, don't go over 80 pitches. But I think that just doesn't make sense with how much we throw. Like it's crazy. You're throwing today.
Yeah, I have 2 games later.
And you said you're not gonna throw that much, or you don't know?
I don't know.
And do they ever track your pitches, or it's just like you're throwing and doing good?
So far I'm only at like 87 for the weekend.
Yeah. So they do track them though,
Yeah.
which is nice. Do they have a number where if you hit it,
To pitch.
there's no number, right?
No,
Yeah.
they're just like,
If you're doing bad, you're out.
Yeah.
If you're doing good, you're in.
Yeah.
And like, do they kind of try to keep you under something on the weekend?
No.
Yeah. So it's a sucky thing in softball that we just don't have like more research and conversations like this with pitch counts, but I think it needs to be monitored per each pitcher, their fatigue, how much strength they have during their outings, and it's so easy to measure. Like it's super easy and quick. And then we can kind of write that down with their pitch counts and how they're feeling.
Do you think you should increase your volume at home to help the amount of volume you could have during a game?
Not always. I think that's a common misconception. The more you throw, right, then you can hold more when you're in the game, but you might just really be burning the candle at both ends. So I still think it circles back to how strong you are, your strength program, and how you're monitoring your arm health.
Hey, there it is. Those are some things that's gonna kill your velocity and limit you from reaching that full potential. So I appreciate you, Tony, for coming by. Also, you know, if you don't know by now, Tony is joining the app. She's doing a pitching specific skills program within the 32 Approach Softball Academy.
I'm really excited for you athletes to get on board with this. The big thing here is pitchers need love too. We want to make sure we're giving you the best of the best. That's why we brought her on. And then on top of that, you guys got the strength and conditioning with Summers. It really doesn't get much better than this.
We're trying to make this the best softball developmental app anybody's ever seen. So that's why we brought in the big guns for this. We're very excited for you guys to tune in and develop with us.
I'm tired of pitchers being overlooked and neglecting their strength program, so let's get in here and kick some
Game rewards the grind. It knows how much you invested.